Russian. When a Russian sells his soul to the devil, it is no casual bargain. A man of a Latin temperament, having completed such a contract, proceeds to enjoy himself until the money lender on souls comes around to foreclose. Why is it the devil that takes the soul rather than the angel of death, or just, death, right? The German, bolstered by a diabolical apologist who call themselves philosophers, is well aware that there is no such thing as good or evil, and that selling one's soul to the devil is an excellent strategy. The Englishman drives as good a bargain as possible and treats the whole affair as though the war in heaven would eventually be won on the playing fields of Aton. He adds a mental note that it is always wise to have investments outside the tight little island, including a first lien on the furnaces of hell, considered by the Foreign Office to be merely an outlying part of the British Empire. But your true Russian goes into the psychological aspects of the deal. For instance, take the case of Stavrogin, considered by Dostoevsky the most important character in The Possessed. It is notorious that Katkov refused to publish the chapter of that novel in which Stavrogin has a conference with the devil. The public was not ready in those days, and might even be shocked today by the cataloging of Stavrogin's sins, his unmotivated crimes, his violation of a child, his utterly debauched life in St. Petersburg. Well, as I'm recording this, the President of the United States, what that guy has done, people are brushing it aside. So maybe Dostoevsky's famous unwritten manuscript, The Life of a Great Sinner, to which he refers in his notes and letters, would have gone even more deeply into Stavrogin's character, but we know enough of that tortured soul to know what agonies of self-abasement and self-analysis attend the dark Russian mind turned evil. Several Russian folktales are equally melodramatic and pathological, highly colored and bloody. The best of these is St. John's Eve, as told by Nikolai Vasilevich Gogol, the love story of Petras and Pedarka, aided and abetted by the devil. Rich as the tales in Ukrainian folk customs, it is even richer in its revelation of the gruesome subconsciousness of the Ukrainian peasant mentality in pre-literate, pre-revolutionary times. It is interesting to note in passing that Petrus saw the devil on St. John's Eve, the traditional moment in European folklore for seeing Satan in his true form, and that barren seed was the classic currency used to acquire unearthly treasures from the powers of darkness. Actually, the cross quarters, the solstices and the equinoxes were the chief times rather than the Christian holidays nearby them, but Gorky's ephemeral but bitter satire, The Devil, reveals the particularly difficult life any honest creative writer was forced to lead during the Tsarist regime. The Kiss of Morena. Midsummer's Night was an important night in that story too. Obviously, dialectical materialism leaves little room for Satan, save as he has been metamorphosed into the greedy capitalist or the ferocious fascist. Soviet education, striking at superstition, has doubtless relegated the devil to remote valleys, but seeing how efficacious the doctrinaire Marxist can be without Lucifer's assistance, Russia need not mourn the loss. And remember that Ukraine was designated by Russia as, Ukraine was a territory that Russia conquered, and they called it Ukraine, but it was 6 of the 75 Slavic tribes. Unmotivated. Well, motivated, but perhaps beyond feeling and emotion, right? Sort of noctulian, right?